Welcome to Life in Alignment, the podcast for men looking to balance career ambition with personal fulfillment. Hosted by Naphtali Anderson, certified executive coach, trainer, and speaker. With a background in engineering and a passion for the arts, Naphtali has successfully navigated the corporate world since 2006, having led multiple teams and leadership programs. In each episode, we dive deep into the challenges and triumphs of finding meaning and happiness while navigating the fast-paced corporate world, all geared towards overcoming the challenges you face as a man. We explore confidence, leadership, and emotional mastery, providing actionable insights and real-life examples to help you thrive. If you've wanted alignment in your life, this is your podcast. Join us as we uncover the secrets to achieving inner peace, strong relationships, and authentic self-expression. Here's your host, Naphtali Anderson.
All right, so look, man, I'm just going to say it. It is incredibly hard for people to be truly authentic in the corporate world. Now, I've been part of the corporate world since 2006. I've held many different positions, led teams, and been invited to mingle with some of the top management, all right, some of the top leaders in the company at the time. There's one thing, though, I always noticed. That people wear a mask, and honestly, I did at first too. Most of us are taught to be very aware of the impression that we're making on others. And that, honestly, it goes double for a Black man. When you're the only person of color in a room, you automatically stand out. You're automatically different. So what can you do to try to fit in, to make sure that people feel like you belong there, that you're one of them? Because not everybody in the room is going to make that judgment. Not everybody is going to question that, but there will always be some people in the room that just feel like you don't belong here. You are not like us. But there's other people that feel like they don't fit in. It's not because of color, and it could be because of something else. But the result remains the same. The mask comes on. And as a manager, you serve two different groups. The people that work for you, the people that report to you, right? And the people that you work for. And I hated seeing managers just quietly accept things that they knew were not right for their teams because they chose to wear the mask. They convinced themselves it was best, right? To just go with the flow, follow the tide, ride the wave. And eventually, when they get high enough in the company, then they'll make some changes and they'll speak up and they'll actually make a difference, which is a load of crap. It is absolutely a load of crap. The worst part about it is actually the inattention that comes from going against your values, right? It's exhausting pretending to be someone that we're not, right? You're paying the price every single day for it. Is it truly worth the stress? If you thought about it, is it truly worth the stress? Is it truly worth feeling in your gut, knowing that you are actually part of the problem because you won't speak up against it? And when you start to practice this for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week or more, especially if you're in a leadership role, that practice grows right into your personal life. And you start to live more inauthentically because you want to just keep the peace. You're already stressed at work. You're already at war. You're already dealing with all the turmoil and trying to navigate what you should and should not be doing and going against your values. You don't want any type of battle outside of the office too. And the only way that you know to keep the peace is to do the same exact damn thing. Just quietly go along with whatever is happening. Don't rock the boat. Go with the flow, no matter how you feel about it. But again, this creates tension. It slowly creates divides in your relationship. It makes you feel so isolated because you no longer have a voice, but you feel like they're taking away your voice, when the fact of the matter is, you're just not using it. But hey, It's all good, right? Because you might get that promotion, and you know what? Then you can be silent about even bigger decisions that impact even more people. So it's all good, right? It is all good. But what is the alternative, right? What is the alternative? It's like, Tali, are you telling me I need to fly off the handle whenever I don't agree with something? I'll just get fired. What will that accomplish? And you know what? You're right. If you acted that way, you sure would get fired. Shit, I would probably fire you. but you have to step out of the fear of not fitting in. You have to get out of the fear of rocking the boat some. And the answer is really balancing diplomacy with authentic expression. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. But first, I just want to give you a little example from my past, from my experience. Many years ago in my career, I got selected to be one of like a dozen people across the US to spend 3 days with the VPs across the country and also their boss, right? The main VP for the whole company. And this was a boot camp training of some sort. And, we got picked because we were saw as future leadership of the company, which is, pretty cool. At that point in my career, though, I had already lost my corporate mask. I had been through certain experiences um, where, as you can say, I felt like I wasn't supported. And I realized that this mask is on in so many different layers of the corporate world. But at the end of the day, all these people are just people. They just have a different position, different title than I did or than I do. But at the end of the day, they're just people. So I kind of lost the corporate mask and I just treated people as such. But it was interesting. It was interesting. This one gentleman always just takes out of my mind when I think about that event. And he was trying so hard. He's trying so hard to impress them, trying to say all the right things. He was enthusiastic. He was very agreeable with the leaders, right? But me, on the other hand, I didn't really feel the need to impress anybody there. Sure, these people probably have a huge say in my future and everything else, but I just didn't have that energy about me. I didn't care, honestly, what they thought. I felt like I was there and I'm just going to add value, and that's it. So I shared my opinion openly, even if it didn't line up with the majority, right? I would say things that it didn't seem other people wanted to say. And there were even times where I kind of waited and I saw people's faces and I could tell they wanted to say something, but nobody would say anything. So I said, screw it, fine, I'll say it. But at the end of the 3 days, I could tell that the leaders were getting a little bit tired of the guy trying to just be so impressive, right? And just be another yes man. But I heard that I had some great reviews from all the leaders there. But the point of the story is that there's a way to be authentic. There's a way to be authentic, to live by your values, not be a yes man, and still be seen as a team player. And it's all about really setting the intention of your communication, right? Being humble enough to understand their perspective and the intentions behind certain decisions or changes that need to be made, things that they're communicating that need to happen, right? And working to find some kind of middle ground. One of my managers, he was like 2 levels up above me at the time. He would call me and my manager troublemakers. He would always call us troublemakers, and that was because we would speak up, and it was like a playful name. He did it out of respect because he always knew that every time we spoke up, we were always speaking up with the best intention for everybody. And that means the company and the employees alike. It wasn't just about me, it typically wasn't about me. It was about how do we look out for the team, right? But also look at what our goals are, what our KPIs are, right? What are the things that we have to get done in the business? It's just being able to say, hey, we can achieve that goal, but what if we did it a little bit like this? Or how do we position it so that it doesn't impact the team in a negative way? Right? How do we get aligned with the team so everybody can feel and be on board with what needs to happen? Sometimes it's just being able to go back to your team and look them in the eye and just say, yeah, yeah, I know this change sucks. I know it. I don't like it either. And I know it's hard. This is what we need to do. But I did try for you guys. I did bring it up. I did say something. And I'm going to keep saying something. But right now, this is what we need to do. And your team, even knowing that you're constantly fighting for them and for their good, speaks volumes. But here's another thing. There's another perspective, right? How does this look from upper management's perspective? One thing that you may think is that upper management knows everything that's going on at your level or even below you, but 95% of the time, that isn't even true. Because just like you may be acting as a yes man, they're surrounded by tons and tons of yes men around them. So it's actually very hard to find out what the truth is. When something is not working as well, when it's negatively impacting the team, sometimes it's hard to actually figure out that truth because nobody's willing to tell them. Nobody's willing to say something that may rock the boat. Nobody's willing to say this was not a good idea. But they are challenged to lead in the way that they may even want to because they don't have the information. Essentially, they're leading blind because nobody's willing to help them see. But when you are that voice that can professionally, but authentically share the pros and cons and even make suggestions, right? You actually empower them to make them have a better and more impactful leadership style. And in that way, they start seeing you as a leader in your own right. But you may still be against me on this. You may still say, Tali, this is way too risky. You may still feel like if you make any type of suggestion or you don't show that you are in agreement or you rock the boat just a little bit, that your leadership will probably isolate you and maybe even fire you. Well, at that point, I would just ask you one question. Do you really want to work for someone like that? I'm going to leave you to think about that. But if this did resonate with you, if it did get the wheels turning, make sure you give a rating, a star rating, and also just leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about. But until next time, this is Naphtali reminding you that when you master yourself, you master your world. Be the revolution that you need today.